What the blacks used to do, by the way, seeing that blind tank driver, by the way, since I know basically what happened, pretty much, what they used to actually do is splash acid in your eyes or pluck out your eyes. It was a black Nazi person that did this. Not the Chinese, not the Germans, not anyone. It was blacks. Like I say, just like chopping off other people's arms or hands, they used to pluck out people's eyes. And then they would use them to drive the tanks while they used the guns. Black person would tell the Chinese driver who was blind where to go and what to do while he would run the cannon and fire for the Chinese person. That's what they used to do. That's what the black army, the African army, used to do. They would pluck out the eyes of people that they had surrendered to them, and then they would put them in tanks or whatever to drive the tanks, and then they would push on their soldiers, and the guy would move the levers to drive the tank, while the other guy ran the turret. That's what the black Africans used to do, what the Nazis used to do. That's how they had drivers for their tanks. Yeah, it was a really, really low, pathetic thing to do. And that's why I hate the solid black Africans and black people. I don't hate them as in I hate them like I'm prejudiced about them. I just hate what they've done and what they're probably still doing. Anyway. I know how they feel about me too. So, like I said, I killed their king and his son and about 20 other of their top leaders, and I'm proud of that fact. They are really bad people, and I enjoyed shelling them and nuking their stronghold into the ground until there was nothing left. I took a great deal of pleasure in that. They were very horrible people that plucked out people's eyes and chopped off people's arms and had no regard for human life. They call it Nazi Germany. It wasn't really Germany. It was black people. And a certain group of very black people. And that's who did it. And some white people. It was not Germans. It was not Russians. It was not Chinese. It was not Middle Easterns. It was not Mexicans. It was some very black people. Nazis. Swastika. That's who they were in the past. That's who they are. And every very black person was entitled to a lot of money or whatever. Basically, they stole it and just did whatever they wanted. Anyway, that is the old, ancient, horrible Nazi Germany, or Nazi people that you know. They were black. They were all black. And I shelled them until there was no one left. Well, almost no one. There were some children which I didn't feel like killing. Which they're still around and probably still being just as annoying as Granddaddy, whatever. Anyway. I suppose eventually they'll die too. I don't know. I don't care. Anyway, but I do remember about year 1000 they were particularly horrible people. And would punish any dissent or any talking back to them as basically plucking out some poor Japanese person's eyes. Those are black people. And particularly the most black and mostly black people. And some white people. And mostly the black people. Africa. They're still chopping off hands over there. And if they had their way, they would kill Irish, Scottish, and everyone else. And pluck out their eyes, or do something particularly horrible. The world should never forget what the black people are, or were, or have been. And they did do it for way too long. And it was their downfall. Like I say, it's not racism why people started to hate black people. It's fact. They wanted slaves and people they could control. And plucking out people's eyes, chopping off people's hands is what they did. It's Bloods and Crips, Nazis, zombie way, black people. The worst, most horrible people in existence. I wouldn't even say that they're really humans, but they are. Anyway, I'm Lucifer Star. I should know what they did. I had to witness it, and I hated every minute of it. One of the reasons why I wanted to crush them so badly. And why I should have just hunted them down until they were all dead, but, I'm not a monster. The black people, and the mostly black people, are the monsters of the past. Those are them. People of Africa, zombie way. That's what they did. That's their MO. Punchy skits, shit, all that stuff. Cutting off people's hands. That wasn't Middle East, that was blacks. Specifically, zombie women and black people. Very black people. Who just killed and tortured. Surrendering to a very black person does no good. If they fight you, you fight them to the death. Because once they have you, they will torture you, rip out your eyes, and do lots of very, very nasty things to you. Do not ever surrender to a black person or a person of any color. They will not be kind to you. You should fight to the very, 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 very last breath. And if you don't, you will regret it later as they're plucking out your eyes. That's what people learned the hard way.